Allow the two
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. Off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not they off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, my ego don't come, oh, my ego diary politico, oh, my ego don't come, oh, this man not the off in mind, my ego don't come, oh, aha. Now you not done here, all these bad politicians, then we call themselves politicians. When they thief our money, we no want make the common man get waiting supposed get for this country. Una never hear something. Now go hear one. My ego, you go show na paper. My ego diary political. So my people make you shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we laugh, oh, yo.
Hello there, brethren. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun live. So thank you so much for joining me again. And of course, it's been very much like consistently inconsistent, very kind of like unusual of us on the platform. Well, yeah, it's going to keep trying and keep pushing, so to say. So thanks for joining me. After reading the caption of the broadcast, take your time, read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it, invite your friends and not so friendly friends, tell them to join us on Mayegun Diary Political Live. So, in the last couple of days, we have had a series of event happenings across all kind of like sector of Nigeria's existence. As much as Tinunu and his owner group are very much confident that they are likely not going to have any serious opposition when it comes to their 2027. Not really moved, but at the same time, the opposition themselves said that the many bobby traps that the Tinubu's gang have set on the path of the opposition to weaken them, divide them, enough that by 2027 they would not really be viable to confront him. There are others who believe that in all of this, Nigerians still supposed to actually matter. Meaning, if Nigerians are indeed tired of how APC and Bekebe is ruining the contraption, then they would have to be the main opposition to them. Anyway, one of Tinubu's ministers is the Minister of Darkness, and that is Adebayo Penkelemesi. He was appointed, I believe, by Tinubu, that is considered to be a genius in choosing the brightest minds as those that worked with him. So he chose Adelabu, and rather than for the Nigerian, power sector to improve, it became even worse. So they balkanized it, and then many other damages that they've actually done, enough that the promise made by Tinubu in 2022, when he said, that's the truth, I don't give you power in 4 years, and I don't give you adequate reasons, right? You should not vote for him again. So now Nigerians are battling with serious heat caused by, well, the weather, and then the lack of power. A lot of them are spending fortune now that the cost of fueling their electricity generators sort of like a tripled, or almost tripled. So something that so many of them initially felt like they could live with, now the rich also cry. So we are starting tonight with the apologies made by the Tinubu's Minister of Darkness, Penkelemesi, where he is currently appealing to Nigerians to give them more time. But we'll first start with Tinubu's statements when he was promising. He did promise people, though, when they say, what did Tinubu promise you? He didn't promise, he didn't campaign per se, but he did promise.
By all means necessary, you must have electricity, and you will not pay for estimated bill anymore. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me. That's the truth. Unless I give you adequate reasons why I couldn't deliver. By all.
So you are about to be given the adequate reasons. Among many other promises that he made and also failed, power is one of them. He didn't just fail on power. They further destroyed whatever it is that they met when they took power, even under Bokuwari, the worst Bokuwari. So people are now saying that the Adebayo Penkelemesi, the Birimu of Okunkun land, right, is the worst minister ever to be appointed by any president. That's how Nigerians have become like angry. One of them is this actor who took to his own Instagram today to make this lamentation.
I don't even know how to begin this conversation. I don't know how to start this talk. Usually I say things like, "Oh, I don't get involved in politics. I don't talk about politics." In fact, the country, the industry, a couple of things, kind of makes you. They'll tell you, don't discuss religion or politics or something, and so you fall into that category where you say, "I don't like to talk politics." No, That's the most stupid statement from anybody in Nigeria right now. We should be discussing, we should be talking about it, we should be trying to fix, we should be inquiring about what is happening in the nation. There's nothing like sitting on the fence. Now it doesn't make any sense. I have a child, so I'm thinking for not just as for myself. Today I bought petrol. I bought petrol for 1,300 and something thousand naira. We don't have lights. We've been running generator back to back. I live on the island, so there's no special treatment. We've been running generator back to back. So I can imagine diesel, most of all the malls and companies, down to the smallest barbershop, run on petrol or diesel. I'm blown away because I'm mentally stressed and I can't even lie. So you don't have light. Diesel is expensive. Fuel is expensive. My staff, a couple of my staff at home are smiling at me and letting me understand that to even come to work now is a problem because the transport is hiking, meaning that their salary is not even enough anymore in a very short period. I don't understand why Nigeria is one of the first countries to be affected by the war in Iran. A blessed nation, a country that a resourceful nation is complaining about fuel price because we are dependent on one refinery, and even that refinery is not, they never got the full support of the government, and then the nation has different refineries that don't function. I don't understand. I'm actually very, very discombobulated. It's messing with my brain, and my spirit is very angry. So what? All the things I'm working for, it is for what? And then I have some colleagues in my industry that are part of something they call a written or something. They relax and the way is fixing something. I've seen some of them. I've seen Nino's name. I've seen a couple of people. I hope you're asking the right questions. I actually hope you are standing for the right reason. Because
fellow Nigerians, this is just the beginning. Fellow Nigerians.
That's very clear. Normally, logically, right, you are going to be like, why is Nigeria one of the countries that were affected immediately the US-Iran war started? It is not that Nigeria is shipping crude oil to through the what do you call it? Through Iran in any sense. Do you get what I mean? Like, why? Then you are going to then roll back and realize the lies they've told you since they came to power about the subsidy removal, the lies about working refineries, and then the other lies around Dangote refinery. Do you get what I mean? That it is easier for Dangote to get a crude oil from Texas in America than to get it from Oluibiri in Bayelsa, simply because Buhari's government has already used Nigeria's own oil allocation from these oil companies that are really drilling the crude oil in Nigeria, right? Nigeria have already used this crude oil allocation, future crude oil allocations, right? They've used them as collateral for loans that Nigerians didn't really benefit from, so to say, still have to pay. I think some of them are actually maturing by 2028. So Nigerian crude oil, also the Nigerian refinery, the one which is Dangote's, that relies on importing crude oil from US and other countries, would have to buy it, well, based on the new international prices, the increase in barrel of crude oil, which in fact will fall back on the end users, you. Also, the NNPC that has been defrauding Nigerians for more than 10 years now, at least a decade, right? Also, the only body responsible for importing fuel into Nigeria continue to import finished product into Nigeria, selling crude oil and importing finished product, meaning Nigerians would have to pay for all those costs, both from the international price for the barrel of a crude oil. So it is no longer about your crude oil, because your own crude oil is no longer yours. Technically, Nigerian crude oil is no longer Nigerians anymore. Okay, so you see, if it was in America, they would say, oh, the capitalist guys, they've taken it over now. They've already shared your oil blocks among themselves, cheaper allocation and all that, in order for them to probably fund the political party in power, not Nigerians. So in the long run, right, they have to give Nigeria a portion of the crude oil taken from Nigeria. You get that now? Okay, I'm going to give you this allocation. We're taking the rest of this crude oil for ourselves. I will pay you this price and all that, yeah? So Nigeria technically have no crude oil for you, you know, fortunately. So therefore, no refinery in Nigeria is guaranteed a regular supply of crude oil, which is that of Nigeria. Although the Kolu is trying right now to open a lot of, or unplug a lot of oil rigs, most of them that have been moribund for a while, unplug some of them, give them to his own friends and all that, continue the same deal, or maybe Nigeria will get an extra allocation of crude oil. So yeah, that's pretty much like the reason why they have to tell you that it is Iran or Iranian war is causing the high price in Nigeria, but the rich also cry, right? Another reason why you don't have electricity in Nigeria, in fact, main reason why you don't have electricity in Nigeria is because of this fraud and corruption behind most of these their policies. It all started from 2012 when Jonathan was your president. So they decided to just sell up all the Nigerian power plants. And they used the word privatization. So they privatized them. So the arrangement then was that those buyers, those who bought the plants, those who decided to be GENCos, those who will be doing this distribution of electricity all over Nigeria. So Nigeria sold, I think, 11 power plants to these private companies to keep generating. So the arrangement then was that Nigeria, when they now came back and said, well, based on the cost of production of each kilowatt of electricity, they will be charging Nigerians a certain amount, which ordinarily would have probably skyrocketed the cost of electricity in Nigeria. So Nigerian government then decided to subsidize it by paying a fraction of what it was to cost if the privatization was continued, because their arrangement then was that these new electricity companies, those that will be generating, managing the plants, those that will be distributing. So especially those that will be distributing the electricity, the GENCos, they will ensure that all outdated equipment are completely changed. All the outdated cables across their own jurisdictions will be changed. So overnight, the electricity infrastructure of the country should have changed. Okay, and in that regard, Nigerians will pay for that electricity. So government didn't want Nigerians to pay that much. So they decided to subsidize. Then they refused to pay the subsidy. So the GENCos themselves now said, well, the target of generating, I think, 15,000 megawatt electricity at the time, this is like history now, you get 2012, 2013. So by 2013, they actually agreed then that Nigerian power station has been privatized, no longer like national or whatever anymore. However, government will be subsidizing. So government failed to pay. So those who needed the diesel and other fuel to generate electricity ran into debt, which after 2013, so from 2013 to 2026, wow. So that is, to 2023 rather. To 2023, that's like a 10 years. That was when Kolu came in. So they now said they are in debt. So by then, Nigeria was generating over 8,000 megawatt electricity as at May 29, 2015. So by the time Bokuwari finished and left in 2023, Nigeria's power generation dropped drastically because of indebtedness, drastically to less than 5,000 megawatt electricity. Distribution also dropped. When Tinubu came in, he called them to ask for, what do you call it, the problem. How can they fix electricity? So they told him about their debts, and they said, Kolu decided to audit, and found that they inflated wherever the entire debt. So they narrowed it down to under 3 trillion from 6 or 7 trillion naira. This was like the arrangement behind. You remember, this is like already privatized national power wherever. Right now, that privatization has probably like broken. It took 10 years before they checked it out. So the arrangement then is that they will pay them their debts and they will improve or increase power generation. The distribution as well will also go on. They will start changing your cables and all that. That was like 3 years ago. Okay. So within that 3 years, it is reported that Tinubu has paid like a 1.1 trillion or thereabouts. Even brought in free, free prepaid meters in order to be distributed to Nigerians and all that. The same corruption within this space made it almost impossible. So right now, the darkness all over the country, despite what they called, Band A, Band B, Band C, this one is part of the corruption. Okay, they were supposed to share the prepaid meters to everybody in Nigeria. Then the electricity company decided to start grading Nigerians on bands. So those who have access to this electricity because they can pay, and these ones can pay more, they will be band B. This ones will be band C. So similarly, the prepaid meter should be given to those they considered as paying customers, and that is how electricity rights of Nigerians became classified in that sense. So the Minister of Darkness himself decided to now plead with Nigerians that whatever they tried, it didn't work. Well, he wasn't really apologizing. Watch this.
Coming from me as Minister of Power, that for this temporary issue that is leading to hardship being experienced, especially during this dry season, where there is so much heat everywhere, where businesses are also being affected, where schools are being affected, where industries are being affected. It is not our wish to find ourselves in this situation, but it's some factors that's actually beyond our control. But we are not relenting. We are working on it 24/7 to make sure that we go back to the trend, to the trajectory of 2025, whereby you praised us, whereby you commended us for a good job well done. And we can imagine if we could provide such service in 2025, this is 2026, this is when we'll be willing to even do more, to even do better as we are close to the election year. So, except that we cannot help it, that's why we find ourselves here. But I can assure you that in the next few weeks, all this will be over. Power generation will improve, transmission will improve, distribution will improve, and that 6,000 megawatts will be achieved before the end of this year, and Nigerians will be better for it. Thank you very much.
Most of the time when these guys talks, people don't ask them timeline. They direct a question like, how are you going to achieve that? What are you going to do differently now? People just be like, okay, yeah, I said next year. He said by the end of this year, we have the result. Did you hear him say they are now targeting 6,000 megawatts in 2026? APC, Egbe's progress is to target 6,000 megawatt electricity when Nigeria was generating over 8,000 megawatt electricity in 2015 when they took power. But they have told you that if not them, Nigerians would have possibly like fallen into probably ruins, you know. But that's not the only problem. Here is the brother, you know, the brother to the running mate to Peter Obi, Ahmed Dati, you know, so his own brother Akim Baba Ahmed, speaking on the state of the nation, while Kolu and others, right, are already in election mode, so to say, right? Watch this.
Hello. I wish all Muslims who have just completed the fasting in the month of Ramadan, congratulations for the month coming to an end. May Allah accept our supplications and our prayers. I would like to talk about two types of violence that are becoming a lot more serious than we anticipated. 3 years into President Tinubu's presidency, we're seeing an escalation in the pattern of violence and its magnitude and its impact on our people that we've never seen before. This is the president who came to power promising to put an end to this insecurity and to create a new path for Nigeria, create new living conditions for Nigerians, make life safer and more abundant. President Tinubu himself would admit that he has failed to do this, to live up to the promises he has made, and to make Nigerians safer. A few days ago, the president and a huge entourage of ministers and government officials traveled to the United Kingdom on state visit. It was a very festive event from the media reports, very happy event. It occurred at a moment when just a few days earlier, there was one of the most horrendous attacks in Maiduguri a few days before the departure of this huge contingent that the president led. In that contingent were the Minister of Defense and the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu. Their presence in that contingent, the number of days they spent in the UK, at a time when the country was reeling from a huge number of attacks, was, to say the least, very insensitive. Even if they had traveled with the president, the magnitude of the attacks on communities in Maiduguri should have advised that they return here, if for nothing else, for symbolic reasons. But we understand that the president gave instructions, the usual instructions. The military should do better. Senior officers should go back to places of attack. But we haven't had anything different from what we've had for the last 3 years. So I would like to say to Mr. President, sir, you're not making any impact on the way in which we live and die. We understand we have signed agreements, we've ordered for equipment at a time when America has already taken our attention, and we are giving promises and opening the door for America to come in and save Christians in this country. The UK was going to be our friend, as it had been all this time. It should have been long before now the country that we should be related to and with. Sir, we are in trouble deeper than when you came. Do something about insecurity, or this country will sink with the ambition to govern Nigeria. The second type of violence we're living with is violence that is patently political. Thugs are harassing people who are campaigning, attacking politicians, making politicking in many areas difficult or impossible. This is very dangerous. Politicians should know that no matter how strong you are in some parts of this country, you are weak in others. This must be put to an end. This madness must be brought to an end now and without any hesitation. We cannot approach 2027 with many parts of Nigeria inaccessible to either the ruling party or to the opposition. Thank you.
State of the Nation, when he was asked to possibly send a direct message to call, but that is not how the mandate campaigners or the mandate standards are seeing it. Kolu has done so well and is currently loved. According to them, City Boy movement or City Boys movement is spreading like wildfire. They are giving people, Nigerians, hope. They are giving them money. They are giving them empowerment, freezer, bike, and all that, okay, to empower them. So what else do you want? They are giving them food all over the country. So what is that will change Kolu in 2027? So they have kicked off their own 2027 electioneering campaigns. First, they started they did their zonal congresses across the country today, from the south to southeast to the southwest, northwest, northeast, northwest, central, and just to start putting the structure of, their party leadership in these areas. Even with the weakest men, also became regional or zonal leaders of APC going forward. Delta was where the south guys met. Kano is that of the northwest. But here, from both.
One more time. Mandate we shall stand. Beat and bar. Mandate we shall stand. Beat and bar. Peter. Peter. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. Beat and bar. On your mandate we shall stand. Beat and bar. On your mandate. Peter. On your mandate. Peter. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate. Excellent. Excellent. My brother, man. Excellent. I'm doing well. Excellent. How now? Chairman. I am the one. I see the president, my own brother, SP. If you might do that, you're the president.
So those are the few images or videos from some of their zonal meetings across Nigeria. Even Atifu's former running mate in 2023, that is Okowa, the special guests or leaders of APC right now are championing for Bola's second term in the South. They are those to deliver that place.
Mr. President is leading Nigeria into the future, a Nigeria that is sustainable, and we must recognize this. Mr. Governor, I thank you for leading all of us in the right direction. I thank you for seeing the Nigeria that we expect for tomorrow. Yes, there could be some pain at the initial time, but please take note, in a few years, you'll begin to see things change. And the time we are going to sing the praises of the man may not be when the man has gone. May it be at the time that is still in office and we can truly speak the truth to the people. It is well with Nigeria. It is well with Delta State. It is well with the people of the country. It is well with Agbo. Governor, we are truly very grateful. We are thankful for this that you're doing. And we pray that God will continue to grant you the peace of mind, the health, and the strength to be able to lead this state continuously in the next 5.5 years still left. May God bless you. May God bless your administration and all those who are working with you. God bless you all.
God bless everybody. Okowa. Atiku chose that one as his running mate in 2023, simply because it was the money bag that could help fund Atiku's presidential campaign. He is accused of stealing over 2 trillion naira, over 2 trillion naira, Delta State money, which some of them is believed to have been funneled into Atiku's presidential campaign. Well, that's the accusation. The EFCC then picked him up. A few weeks after that, he joined APC. Then suddenly, the EFCC is not going after him anymore. Like that. So he is now campaigning for Tinubu's second term. You see that it is not really because Tinubu has done any well, but the fact that Tinubu has managed to probably control his EFCC doors from going after him, and he could easily just go and enjoy wherever he slept of his own loot when he was governor of that state. So that's a small cost to pay for freedom. So he's on the podium. So was Apologised. That one was even singing.
Governors safely today, Yahweh. Yahweh, your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is Yahweh. Peace maker, love maker. You have brought peacefulness to the south today. You have met Asiwaju presidents today, Yahweh. Yahweh, your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is Yahweh. 2027, South shall go one way. You have met the South victorious today. You have met the APC, the dominant party. Yahweh. Yahweh. Your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is Yahweh.
You feel like they are just mocking Nigerians, right? But yeah, everybody will laugh. Yeah. And of course, they will have their ways, like where they needed to tweak the law, okay, and create confusion because they understand what the end goal will be. So they will do that, fortunately. So Oshiomole also sent a message, this time to Atiku, asking those who are still left behind yet to join Tinubu for 2027 to do so right now, because even Atiku's son has left him. So, but Atiku is a very stubborn, runner, something like that. But listen.
Listen to this. If there is anybody left, make it hear with you, I want to talk so. Now truth, I want to talk against so. You heard not too long ago the son of a former vice president who is also a presidential aspirant, always an aspirant. Sometimes a candidate, sometimes an aspirant, but he's never neutral. But he has never won. The son of a former city vice president, a founding father of PDP, abandoned his father and joined APC so that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can continue to do the good job he has started. If you think that is an accident, listen to this. About 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, the first child and a daughter of the first president of Nigeria in 1999 to 2007, she decided to resign from PDP and decamp to APC. So I ask you, young ones, if the children of opposition leaders, of a former president on PDP platform, decide to leave their fathers and join APC, now you want a man there. Listen to this.
Should they hear? So everybody should join them and continue to deny the reality. Then when the camera is off and the light is out, everybody go back to reality and then be like, oh yeah, this country, this is what it is. It is, I mean, isn't it? So the PDP servers more or less like broken into an irreparable pieces. But somehow, right, the other faction, which is the Solumakidese faction, so they are practically still grandstanding and hoping that the judiciary will probably do what is right, while Werewike and his own camp are already inaugurating, groups, committees, this, that is going to choose their leadership and at the same time choose their candidates for 2027. That in itself will probably have its own cracks too, because I have started hearing some of those within the camp of Werewike that we never told them that they are going to work for Tinubu. Something that they have to say on in the media. Yes, if Wike is working with Kolu, but that doesn't mean that PDP is also going to do the same thing in 2027. And I'm like, that's good. Let's watch out for the breakout after the victory, which is with the Wike's current victory run. So we'll see what that leads to in the next coming weeks. But to the Turaki guy, the initial one that dismissed with the Wike's camp from PDP is speaking differently now. Please watch this. Then we are going to go to Omoyele Shore, who has been having serious spats with the Obedient as well as the Abians. Most of them were supporters of Alex Soti and Peter Obi due to Shore's comments. But first, Turaki.
And most particularly members of the fourth estate of the realm, a very warm good afternoon to all of you. I want to start this press conference by saying that for us in PDP, all hope is not lost. Indeed, no hope is lost. In obedience to the advisory of the Court of Appeal Ibadan Division, a few weeks ago, that parties in the suit should explore reconciliation to save the party from further strife and provide a platform for aspirants to seek elective offices in the upcoming elections. The Board of Trustees of our party, ably led by His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Adolfo Swabara, GCON, constituted a high-powered committee to interface with our friends on the other side, with a view to resolving outstanding issues and repositioning the party for all future elections. In furtherance of this, the National Working Committee immediately issued notice postponing the then scheduled National Executive Committee and National Caucus meetings earlier scheduled to hold 2 days thereafter as a demonstration of good faith. We also de-escalated communication on all fronts, especially combative communications. While we expected a reciprocal gesture, what we have witnessed instead is the weaponization of hurtful rhetoric and the issuance of derogatory statements. That notwithstanding, we remain mindful of the far-reaching implications of this dispute, particularly within the tight timelines of the extant Electoral Act. We therefore call on the leadership of the other group to act in the overall interest of our numerous party members who look up to our platform to pursue respective elective aspirations. I can unequivocally confirm that as of today, leaders on both sides have broken the ice and are exploring various pathways towards a lasting resolution of this very, very sad impasse. We urge our supporters across the board to immediately de-escalate high-tempered communications and actions so as not to jeopardize the ongoing peace efforts. To all aspirants who have stood with us this far, we assure you that by the grace of God, our party will field candidates for all elective offices in compliance with Article 6, Paragraph 2 of the Constitution of the PDP as amended in 2017. We also sincerely appreciate Nigerians across the country who have continued to show interest in our party and have registered via our e-registration portal, www.impdp.org. Despite recent challenges, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the faith of our core supporters remains unshaken. It is for them they were.
Right. But here is the truth. Okay. The PDP, as it is currently existing, is 100% in the hands of Wiriwike. 100%. That may change tomorrow. It's not likely going to change. And we all know why. Because these PDP guys are not really fighting with Wiriwike alone. They are actually fighting with the judiciary. And with the relationship that Wiriwike have with the judiciary, then you know it's going to be a lose-lose for them. Yeah, they're going to lose. So therefore, anyone who associates with them, because right now, this guy who is talking about our committee, our board of trustee, our blah, is just reading for reading's sake. It's got no effect whatsoever. So they are trying to relate with the Wiriwike's to say, okay, you know what, let's work together, the blah, which is in itself also a ruse, zero, okay? Anybody who associates with them, who wants to run for political office in 2027, will probably have to like waste their time eventually because of the way their PDP is right now. It has been given to Wiriwike. His own team of caretakers have been recognized by the appeal court. And on that note, they have been, what do you call it? They have been recognized by the High Court, Appeal Court. So now, are these guys waiting for Supreme Court to change that? When Wiriwike just built houses for judges, palaces for judges in Abuja, are they expecting the, yeah? Of course not. But yeah, the, what do you call it, the INEC itself also invited political parties to discuss about their preparation for the 2027 charade, right? To tell them that they are ready. The usual. Shore attended that. His own summation of the gathering, of course, you know, it's always going to be different. Meanwhile, in the background, the members of the ADC themselves are battling some spiritual battle, not spiritual, but it's practically like a visible known spirits, all right, within the APC, or within Tinubu's regime, where a lot of litigations are currently ongoing, waiting for court decision. One of them is that David Mark, who is the leader of the ADC right now, should not be recognized. Another case is that ADC was not properly registered. They should deregister them. They shouldn't participate in 2027. And with the way Nigeria is, and how this level of estate capture is currently going in Nigeria, don't be surprised if you wake up and the court says, boom, it happened in Benin Republic. None did it in Benin Republic. Boxed the opposition to the corner so much that you couldn't blame him. It's the court. The court continued to rule over the crisis within the opposition parties until they scattered. And the ones that tried to be strong-headed, right, they were arrested and charged for treason, locked up in prison. And it all built up little by little. In the first term of Talon, not even second term. So Nigeria may be playing that same card as we speak. So Shewore attended the meeting of political parties with INEC, and here is his own submission.
Akima, please let me come to the other side.
Basically, the Independent National Electoral Commission met with leaders of the I think the most important event today was the submission of the guidelines for the things that political parties really like political parties should do. I think that's the most important thing that people have to make their How satisfied are you with the outcome? What I think about guidelines for political parties and what I've always noticed is that political parties in Nigeria are not independent and they are not aspiring to be independent. They treat INEC as if INEC is their headmaster. So they come and submit to INEC whatever INEC wants and what they disagree or agree with INEC. I think that political parties should be independent. They should be the ones driving the political process. That's why they call them opposition to the ruling party. For instance, all of them were complaining in there that the primaries might be too tight and INEC should please help them, help us. I said, why can't you step outside? The media is outside. If INEC is giving you guidelines that are not suitable, primaries, tell them you are not participating in the elections. Let the APC go and do his election by itself.
So, in other words, what you believe is just formality, right?
Oh, these meetings are formality. Sometimes it's just come and eat INEC.
So, was there any other further discussions on whether the new electoral act can be amended?
Yes, we disagree completely with the electoral act. That's why I'm saying that I expect them to come out and express that there's a lot of inconsistencies in the electoral act. And even INEC did say it, but they said they can't say it openly. You know, I'm always the person who says things openly that nobody wants to talk about. The electoral act is inconsistent with democratic practice and principles. And it is done in such a way that it's going to make the elections work only for the APC. Let me tell you, the APC do not even attend this meeting because they don't need it. Yes, they don't come.
So what's your next action? Now that you know some of the challenges.
Our party will take a position, but I expected the political parties to take a joint position on this issue, not to come and be begging INEC in the meeting to help them. We should take a public position without coming to INEC. Say, look, if these electoral laws do not permit our full participation in what we know as participatory democracy, we will not participate. We will boycott the election for you. Go and do the election. Since already you are doing it in such a way that you already know the winner anyway, it's going to be another selection. So I expect the political parties to be stronger, be more firm in rejecting or accepting things that work for them in the electoral act.
Are there sanctions for political parties that fail to attend like this one?
No sanctions. Like I said, this one is not compulsory. So you don't have to come. But I just don't. I'm not the one who appointed it. Why would you ask me? So that's the people who appointed it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So, Shopera went there as an observer, and that won't be the first time. It will be the second time, and I think it is also not the third time. But again, yeah, from him going in there, we have been able to get the idea of how these guys run things within the INEC itself, plus all the things we already knew. So the same Shewore has been taking the it and giving it back to the obedience, as well as the supporters of Alexoti. Shewore was granting an interview to the same media guys in front of a court. I think that was 2 days ago, like a follow-up to his statement calling the development of Abia State ascribed to Alex Otis' brilliant style of governance, or so to say, is just hyped. And according to him, Abia State looks not like what they wanted the world to see. And that triggered a lot of people asking him what Abia State was like before Alexoti became their governor, and why is getting so much attention simply because for the first time, like they can actually track development in their states. So Showore won't agree. So he also called Peter Obi's association with the Atifkus and Co. as the association of MMM, the Ponzi schemers, where thieves and criminals and the rest of them who ruined Nigeria are now offering to rescue Nigeria. All these statements and comments unsettled a lot of people. They consider that Showore must be working for Tinubu. In fact, no, Showore is working for Tinubu, kind of. Social media has been agog for the past few days because of this. Their statements. I want to see your reaction.
Malami. He was with Malami that same night. And Malami is officially one of the biggest thieves on trial in this court today.
He also advised the trial is
so I don't need to point anything to you. The hypocrisy that they represent, we keep putting them out. The people you should pity are those who are fooled by them. I'm not talking about those who are helping him to fool you or helping them to fool you. Those ones that justifies his criminal alliances. You understand? That's not. It's the people who, in their large numbers, are being euthanized by these lies. I feel bad for them because some of them are genuinely interested. They think they are involved in nation building or some kind of movement that will bring about change, only to understand too quickly and too early that they are part of a fraud, a political fraud scheme, syndicate, a Ponzi scheme, one of the biggest political Ponzi schemes. You heard it from me. Yes. That could be put together. It's all this MMM, Peter Obi movements that tells you today that somebody is a criminal, then the next day they are with the person and they will justify why they are with the person. The criminal structure is no longer criminal. It is now structuring, and they are helping to restructure the criminal structures so that they can learn how the criminal structures failed. They are the only persons who go and learn how to fail. We teach people how to succeed.
We have been on the same position for decades.
We are talking about 36 years of doing this. So, but as you always want, I know you love it for content. It applies to all of them. And that's why I was telling you at the beginning of our press conference that any of them that I mentioned about their performance, let them come and dispute it themselves. Don't hide behind one influencer. I don't hide behind influencers when I say my own. I'll say it on national TV, if you are a thief, that you are a thief.
There's no crime in calling it.
There's no crime in calling a thief a thief.
Actually.
And if you are the treasurer to a thief, you are a thief too. Because when the thief steals, he will come and keep it with you.
Nobody should even say the governor in this country.
Yes, sir. It's not even about, I've told you, OT, who all of you are, I know the reason why they are upset about OT has nothing to do with it. They are upset about OT when they saw the organic crowd that received me in Aba. They didn't know that I could enter Aba without rice, And that is why their principal had to go and borrow people who are doing Salah in Kano. And they are celebrating it. Oh, Peter Obi was in Kano. He met with Kwakwaso. When did Kwakwaso become a saint? Is it not the same Kwakwaso you were abusing in 2023 that he's the saboteur for not working with Peter Obi? Suddenly, Kwakwaso is a saint because he borrowed you the crowd in his compound in Kano where they are eating salad. That's why I say be careful before they start telling you that if you go to a club, it's an alliance. If you go and attend a party, it's also an alliance. You go and attend wedding, it's an alliance. Well, those ones might have value. I don't know. But let's just play this honestly. Because if you are condemning the city boys, you will also have a right to condemn your village thieves.
That unsettled a lot of people. Because to them, why are you so fixated on criticizing your supposed fellow opposition when all of you should probably somehow be working to get rid of Tinubu? But since Showore would not by any means be seen or associated with the likes of Atiku and others, okay? So that makes it more like impossible. And Alex Otti, why are you also criticizing him? This or that? Then some of these people now felt like, Showore is just being kind of narcissistic or something. Somebody who just want to blemish everyone except himself, even if his argument is partly valid. Or if you have a common enemy at this point, you probably would work together to neutralize such Abi, but not to Showore. He's not backing down. So he went on replying all the trolls, by the way, to say this.
You would notice that each time I talk about Malami, he can't respond to me. If I talk about Peter Obi, he can't respond to me. When I talk about El-Rufai, he will never respond. When I talk about even Alex Otti, he will never respond, because I know them in their individual capacity, and when I challenge them, they know that I'm challenging with facts, and they then hide behind all kinds of people and places to respond. Let them be man enough. When I accuse you of something, come and say that you were lied. When I talk about Oti, that I went to Abia and what I saw was mediocrity. The problem is that a lot of people who have never seen proper standards of governance, you can't blame them. People have never seen roads made, not only with just the highway being made, that there will be a portion for vehicles, for bicycles, and there will be a portion for people who want to walk. If you have never been on that kind of a road, you will be excited with a road that is done and halfway the road ends. I remember when I went to the UK, to the London School of Economics, to go and confront Fashola when they were praising Fashola as the best governor in the world. I told him, I said, parts of Lagos is deodorized. The other part of Lagos is ghettoized. They said, no, Fashola is the best. He built Lagos. And nobody has ever, today, who can say that again? Fashola got upset. This was London. The video is on YouTube. Said, I don't even read Sahara Report. I said, how's that my business? So, this is what we must all accept, that there must be a general standard for performance. And anybody who cannot live up to that performance should not be praised as a performer or special governor. And don't come to me ever and say that a governor who is paying salaries is doing you favor. So you don't want the people who are working to get paid? Or a governor who campaigned that he will build schools is building schools, you want me to clap for him? Or a governor who is paying pensions, is he not paying himself pensions? Some of the governors have already even allocated to themselves pensions for life, pensions for their children. You would not,
maybe not Obi and Oti, but yeah, the Showore's argument is not completely wrong, but it's just probably how he decided to model all of them together, and that is expected, because for example, simply because Peter Obi now merged with joined them in APC, majority of you that joined Peter Obi's movement, obedient, disobedient, that you joined simply because of his own track record. At the same time, for deciding to go it alone rather than to join these criminals, those you call the crooks. But since Peter Obi joined them, a lot of you have found yourself conflicted. I mean, some of you have found yourself defending El-Rufai in this world. You know that. And you are doing so simply because, well, he's in the same party with Obi. Some of you have found yourselves defending Malami. Why? Because, Tinubu is bad. Yeah, Malami is bad, but Tinubu is worse. So we can still manage Malami, the same Malami. Why? Because of Obi. That's confliction. You get that now? A lot of people are battling that. You may not admit it. Fine, it's all right. Okay. And there are others who are like normal, regular guys, political, career guys that will just play it down. But don't deny it. A lot of you have become conflicted. And you have to now defend. You are now asking for evidence of El-Rufai's involvement in the killings in Southern Kaduna. A lot of you are doing so now because agreeing with those who will never, for no reason, say anything contrary to the truth about these characters, not because of anybody, but because of who they are. Okay, so you found yourself trying to, to fight that off. I don't know how easy it is for all of you now, especially those of you who are obedient, because you would have to defend them, of course. Because by not defending them, you are indirectly hurting your principal. And right now, you found yourself also defending Peter Obi against things that he never did. It was never in his record, right? Now you find yourself defending that, and you have to put all these characters beside them. It's kind of mental. That's like hell of a work. Okay. So El Rufai was taken to Kaduna court yesterday, right, on the charges of corruption. So now I've seen people that back in the days were ready to sign the petition to have El Rufai, the Kaduna little finger, extradited to The Hague to go and face the International Criminal Court for all his atrocities as Kaduna governor, right? Now I have seen those people who were ready back then to do that today, who are now asking us for evidence. Oh, but I see, nobody is saying it. Me, I don't like El Rufai, but I don't like, see, this Tinubu is just picking up his opposition. He just want to do one party state. He just want to this or that. Yeah, bro, are you trying to defend El Rufai? No, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that where is Yaya Bello? Yaya Bello is there in APC. Why can't they just go and grab that and say, no, you are still defending? Are you like saying El Rufai should be given the Yaya Bello's treatment, even though they are all thieves? So like, all right. And you're like, but we all need to work together to get this APC out of power by bringing other criminals back into it. So it's so conflicted, Jabi. It should be conflicting. But yeah, it is. Even Malamu himself is so conflicted right now. From the money he stole when he was a minister of injustice in Nigeria, plus those people he denied justice when he was in power. Today he's crying out that he is being treated so badly that the EFCC evicted his family from his properties in Abuja, properties you bought after you became minister, from the money you looted. Great. Let's feel sorry for him because he is one of those who wants to save Nigeria or Nigerians from APC.
Thanks to, of course, seal your apartments within Abuja. We want to find out what is really the situation, because to get to say there was an order which is no more valid. What's the situation now?
Well, the incident that happened yesterday was not an isolated one, because it was further confounded by additional confounding events this morning. There was an attempt yesterday by the EFCC, which indeed was a co-litigant in respect of the pending criminal proceedings before Federal High Court against my person. Arising from that criminal proceeding, there was an order dated 6th day of January 2026, an interim order for ritual that was granted. But the most interesting part of the order, there was no clear directives or instructions in the order that the premises will be taken over forthwith, or perhaps being sold, or perhaps evicting the occupants of the respective premises. But the most interesting part of it is an application was filed at my instance for setting aside the order. And the court fixed a date against the 20th day of April 2026 for the hearing of an application filed at my instance challenging the propriety or otherwise of the order. Conventionally and traditionally, by the act of securing the order by the EFCC and by the act of veiling issues on my part by way of filing an application seeking for the court order to set aside, issues are joined by the parties. So it is only natural, logical legal and judicial, that no party is expected to overreach by way of taking unilateral steps that will place a court in a situation of helplessness. But unfortunately, yesterday, without further reports to the court, without seeking for an order to seal my properties, without seeking for an order to evict me and my family members from the property, without seeking a court order for the appointment of receiver manager, the EFCC came yesterday to effect forceful eviction. They were unable to conclude the process yesterday and reinforced this morning with a lot of personnel that are armed and indeed forcefully take over possession of my family residence and the family members who are equally taken out of possession. It is commonplace and it is in line with the tradition of the judicial process that when a matter is pending before a court, you cannot unilaterally act as a party to take steps or perhaps to take steps that will render the court. Traditionally, when you are a party before the court, you cannot on your own embark on execution exercise. Executions of the court orders and processes are exclusive functions of the court bailiffs, court sheriffs, and judicial processes, and not in any way exclusive reserves and prerogatives of a party to the litigation. So what happened by way of forceful eviction of my family members, forceful taking over of my properties, and forceful perhaps invasion of these properties of mine is legally and judiciously unprecedented in the Nigerian history and Nigerian legal system. It has never been a tradition of perhaps relying by an institution or establishment of government on interim orders of forfeiture to force an eviction onto a co-litigant before a court of law. So my take is what is unfolding on the part of EFCC is indeed steps that are extrajudicial, that are unprecedented, that are unlawful, that are illegitimate, and that are now intended apparently to cause a situation of helplessness on the part of the court, which had already fixed the hearing of the applications relating to these properties to a certain date, which is fixed for 20th day of April 2026. So I think it is on this basis that it is important.
I'm move past you. You know I'm more rich me guy. I swear to God that talk. I'm move past you. I'm move past you again. I'm move past you. Ask anybody. See, you go argue this thing, but I swear to God I'm move past you. You don't see how they move before. Me again. I'm move past you. I'm move past you. You know move.
That's exactly the way it sounded. Malamu, he looked defeated, deflated, maybe depressed. Let me give you his backstory. Abubakar Malamu from Kebbi State. He's a charge and bail lawyer. Through quota system, he became a senior advocate of New Science. Then Bokuwari appointed him as Minister of Justice. His first rodeo to access unlimited, sort of like a cash money, was when they were negotiating the return of Abacha loot, something that was already concluded. Then that government that did all the negotiation, waiting for that money to be sent to Nigeria, lost election. So these guys came in. And rather than for the Nigerian government to just produce a bank account where they wanted this Abacha loot to be refunded to, Malamu delayed it for an extra 8 months or thereabout until 2016, when he now put together a team of consultant lawyers who were to be paid a percentage from the returned loot. That's how they cashed out over $18 million from one swoop like that, from one deal. Since then, Malamu has been involved in so many other shady multinational contract stuff that the government of Nigeria needed to sign. And he made a lot of money. Enough that within just 7 years or 7.5 years in government, Malamu became possibly the richest, maybe second richest criminal from Kebbi State. The first, by the way, happened to be, the former governor of the same Kebbi and now, minister under Tinunu, Abacha Bagman, called Bagudu. Malamu acquired so many properties that they actually listed over 170 properties, over 400 bank accounts. I'm not joking. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 400 bank accounts linked to him or to this business, to that associate. He built university, he built hostel, built hotels, houses all over the place, where car wash, name it, shopping mall. He was buying properties all over the place, in Abuja, in Lagos, in Kebbi, and even in Kano, some of their big cities, Kaduna. 7.5 years in government. Oh, what about the abuse of power? The man that is now talking about abuse of court process. He is number one. He produced the fake intel that they supplied the Interpol, where they sold a lie to the government of Kenya that Nnamdi Kanu was coming to Kenya to come and see the Shabab terrorists in order to work with them into terrorizing Nigeria. Yeah, he sold the intel. He denied Nnamdi Kanu his freedom when the Court of Appeal freed and discharged and acquitted him from all charges brought against him by the government of Bukwari. He denied the obeying of that judgment. He didn't obey it. He kept Nnamdi Kanu in detention longer until he could get the Supreme Court justices that would then say, you know what, the appeal court is not wrong, but something is that they should go and retry the case again, afresh. He got that, and he managed to keep Nnamdi Kanu in detention beyond his own time as minister. What about Showore? What about how many people that just disappeared, all because of Malamu and his office, because the government of Bukwari was interested? Office of Malamu charged a Nigerian for naming his own dog, Buhari. His office, Minister of Justice of Nigeria, also charged a Nigerian for buying a former SIM card used by Bukwari's daughter. Like, the impunity was so massive, enough that he became so confident that he could be governor of Kebbi State. And something went wrong. Yeah. It was this same Malamu that invited Maguluta Crook. Remember that guy, EFCC guy, that just disappeared? Nobody heard from him again. Yeah, it was him. He invited him inside the Asshole Rock, set up a mini panel inside Asshole Rock. They locked him up there. He did the same thing to another EFCC guy called Bawa. You remember Bawa? They also disappeared inside the Asshole Rock. No thanks to Malamu. It was during his time I realized that there is a special prison inside the Asshole Rock where people can legally be detained in Nigeria. Yeah. They will put up a quick panel. They will convict you of anything. They will lock you up inside the Asshole Rock prison. It was during their time. Now see the deflated Malamu trying to remind us that that was illegal. It was unconstitutional. That's really a criminal, a career criminal. Is a co-crook. Is El Rufaya, the Kaduna little finger. They brought him to court. Well, they took him to court in Kaduna yesterday. The ICPC. They are holding him for spying on Ramadan. Well, they are putting all their weight on them. I don't know the political value they possibly possess, right? But somehow, it seemed that they have a lot on their plates right now. 2027. I am just saying. Others are saying maybe they are playing into his hands. That is El Rufaya, the Kaduna little finger, right? Well, maybe not. Yeah. when they brought him back to their court yesterday.
Morning, sir. How are you doing? All systems good. Okay.
So to some, they said that Kolu is playing into his hands because Tinubu's popularity in the northern part of Nigeria have waned so much. If the report coming from that party is anything to go by, but yeah, it is being spread in northern part of Nigeria that Tinubu hates the north, and in fact, all his actions, right, have shown that he is not grateful that northern Nigeria made him president, all right, and that he is now hunting down those that helped him, and he is doing all of this in his first term in office. What is he going to do when he gets the second term? Something like that. So they said they are probably playing into this guy's hands, but I don't know. So immediately after that, this was him after the court before they took him away again.
Don't fall down. Don't fall down. Watch your back. Watch your back. Open that thing now. Open. Give way, please. Give way here. Give way. Sorry.
Ibrahim. He's on me inside.
How are you? Very well. What do you want to do?
His family around. At a point, they denied one of his wives entrance into the courtroom before he was finally taken away to be brought back, I think, on the 31st of March, 2026. Because that arraignment happened in Kaduna, so his own supporters were on the streets, of course, to cheer him on and boo the governor.
Allah ya fito da kai malam. Allah ya fito da kai malam. Allah ya fito da kai. 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 Allah ya fito da kai malam. Sai malam. Allah ya fito da kai. 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 Sai malam. Sai malam. Sai malam. Sai malam. Sai malam.
And the truth is that the man is accused of either looting or mismanaging over 600 billion naira when he was governor of Kaduna State. One of the money is a particular loan they took for, Cadvest, Kaduna, business festival, something like that, for small businesses and all that, $450 million that developed wings, never to be seen again. So it's part of the allegations against him. But yeah, let's say Malam, 2027, say Malam, chaos everywhere, 2027. Now here is a recorded kind of like a scenario where those even within the APC, I mean, a lot of them who are already running to the APC, they believe that if you can get the APC tickets, you are as good as elected already because they're going to fix it, sort of. So therefore, you have to fight for it. Here is somebody who believes that he's been probably, ripped off, sort of. Yeah, he's been ripped off by some people in the APC when he already paid for, as an aspirant, okay, he's paid for the form, but they won't give them forms. All right. I mean, how is that even like possible? They are accusing the APC right now that some people within APC, because of how valuable APC ticket is for 2027, right? They are only willing to sell tickets to maybe one or two people because they're going to tell them that from above, Tinunu and all of them decided this person is going to be the candidate. But they are still collecting money. They are allowing people who wanted to run for office, right, to pay for it. But they're not being given the forms. How much are they paying? We don't know yet. But here, in one of the offices.
For that position of the deputy vice chair, national vice chair, South. 5 million people came together to give me that support. So, my brother, I have come here. Don't see, he knows I understand this thing. All you do is for you to have peace of mind. Just give us our phone.
Or call the person.
No, don't give.
The problem is that
give
us what he's saying.
Thank you.
I didn't say this. I didn't say this.
We all see it. I know everybody. I paid for this form. 5 million Nigerians came out. 5 million Nigerians came out. You must go back for it. I have paid for this form. I have paid for this form. Excuse me. Whoever that has what it takes to go for this contest. Excuse me. Come out. For the form. Give me my form, you're telling me stories. That I should go and travel and come back. Why? Give me my form here. I found this party. I'm not found this party. Give me this form. Give me this form. Give me this form. Give me this form. What can you pass? I paid. You give me receipt. You attended to me. You prepare me and say that you sit down. You want to bring up form. You want to outside. I don't do this. I'm not a stranger in this party. The president of the is stranger. The president of the is stranger in this party. This is my party. I started this party from who sent you.
Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno, Igbo bueno, Igbo bueno, Igbo bueno, Igbo bueno.
Meanwhile, in other parts of Nigeria, where it is alleged that Tinubu's money was given to this group of worshippers as a gift for Ramadan, then while they were discussing what to do with the money, a group said they should return it. They don't want Tinubu's money. Another group said, why not? If you don't want it, don't collect it. We want it. In the course of what to do, then this happened. I was Shokoto. It doesn't really matter. So that was, you know, that happened. And then we did mention the EFCC earlier, where it was reported that they chased Malamu's family out of his house, the house built with stolen money, Nigeria's money, right? I don't have evidence in that regard other than the evidence of his own EFCC case that proved that he has acquired properties out of, he has used corruption to acquire properties, and therefore is standing a trial for that. So that is my evidence. Okay, I just don't know why the students in Kwara Poly have to start running today, because the EFCC visited their school, started shooting, and caused so much pandemonium. EFCC in Kwara Poly. Did you see that today? Well.
Wálé ọdún ti jáde padà.
Àwọn bíbí yẹn máa jáde.
Ní kí ni? Ó dáwọn oníjọ́ lọ. Àwọn NDLD àti. Ẹ wọ́n kọ̀ yẹn.
Ẹ wo bíbẹ̀ yẹn. Àní ó ṣe tuntun wọn bẹ̀ yẹn, wọ́n jálẹ̀kùn wọn látẹ̀yìn ọdún ọ̀bá ń gbọ́. Ṣé ló pọ̀ sí géètì àwọn ẹlẹ́rẹ́ ni wọ́n jà? Ìbọn tí wọ́n lè jà láti ṣe.
So they were looking for criminals in the school premises, I believe. I'm talking about criminals. So today, some group of vigilantes, as well as some Nigerian policemen, came together to comb some of the forests in Imo State, where the recent victims of kidnapping, right, have pinpointed this location as where these terrorists have been taking them to, to get ransom from them before they were released. And good enough, when this team entered this forest in Imo State, they not only rescued some of their victims, they also caught the perpetrators, and they are not Fulanis, by the way. Yeah, watch this.
Try. I'll try this one.
Give me my keys. Go and my keys.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to say your place. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. Sir. Mama, I salute you.
We'll talk later. Mob that beat them this way. Police.
You mean
if not for police operating,
they forgive them?
They would have killed the both of them. They know now.
Yeah, bro, so the students. The students. Huh? Where are you from? You can't do. What do they do? What do they do for that place? Speak up, man. No, make it. No, we're not going to get them.
Wait for one machine. So, that guy, give us go show us how to operate it as I give me the gun as I reach there. I don't know. I come from the back and I come and stay here. I don't know how to operate it. So I just use the gun. Arrest the.
Which one?
He's not getting. This is my friend. Collect the gold. So
collect the what?
Gold. As we are going, so the owner of the gold, they make showing which motor.
So how long have you been in this?
Yeah, a bunch of young men and middle-aged men involved in kidnapping for ransom, armed robbery, and all of that. But you know something? For the first time in a very long time, they didn't tag them IPOB. You know, that's their usual MO, right? They will arrest criminals. You know, that for the news to probably make sense, according to them, then they will turn it to the IPOB. And their media will carry all of that because they wanted to keep having that digital footprint that link people who have nothing to do with the IPOB as the violent guys who are terrorizing the eastern part of Nigeria. But this time they didn't. I was surprised. That's the reason why I'm actually sharing it to probably come here and show you that. You may see the video somewhere else where somebody else is going to give it a different caption. Or IPOB this or that, because that is mostly intentional for those of us who have been like tracking this for a long time. Yeah. Anyway, that happened in Imo. In Ghana, we have a group of Nigerians who are of Yoruba's extraction, okay, who have been living in Ghana for a very long time. Fair enough. But this time, they came out as like a royal fathers in Ghana, demanding for political representatives in the government, like have their own kind of like districts, that would then be constitutionally allowed not only to participate in voting in Ghana, but to also be voted for, but to be recognized as being part of Ghana. Something that has now triggered reactions of Ghanaians or Ghanaians, just like what happened when this Eze Ghana guy was making a proposal of building the Igbo village or Igbo community, so and so in Ghana. Remember that reaction then? Another set of clowns have decided to also steer the hornet nest.
Yaba Ghana almost 200 years. It's even more than that. Menewa granted me interview. I was born and breed here. But we have been playing allegiance to Otufu. Yasumna no Otufu. Into Nigerians Ghanaians. Yeah, Etiani, na papa ya one Ghana. It is around 83 years. Can you tell he's not a Ghanaian? I'm more than 60 years. We are born and bred here. We are all Ghanaians. But we are one roots. Yeah, root to Nigeria. And also, your life will na the sum of Chico Coso. Na mo say asunji wahan. And there's something peculiar. A been tense in all the tribes in the world of crab. Arata fona a sum choko in sea. Uko ufia, there's a Christian, there's a Muslim. Most observation wa Muslims upon a dozen aye baha. The anka certain community didn't see. But in Nigeria, a kutimisi Boko Haram baby and the Yoruba party need the first money there and time fan to come back. That's why we are also here living peace and harmony with our brother and sister Amoye Asante for.
Specific contributions saying why as a group are leading to this award?
Oh, Edawson. Me know say your schools, your churches, and your mosques. And your penny forces who are part of some are in the UST as a lecturers. In terms of education, we contribute. Police cry one crop for whom. And in a country like a capital, Accra, our people are there. So you contribute to Uko as a Ghana as a Usha Ghana records Yoruba. When come to business, so say trotro no mi bisa opening e kasa be ya e rata kasa trotro awufu ni say boss jira wa o se wu trotro e rata kasa ade e rata kasa ni say e tamu ni so a ye mamefo no amoto mako no wo be fruka no a wo si ka trotro no e toro means in Yoruba language simple and as I say amaji etu we also contributed in language our Ghana as I say trotro ufru na yara takasa
peace statement or peace message how be catch Ghanaians on and saying so about the year or 2 months ago now issues we are sorry Ghanaians and the Igbos and the rest can be a maya as a nation so
then Nigeria have almost 535 types languages in Nigeria. You have a state alone that have almost 30 languages. Yeah, uti amene wo kasano. Ye yarata fo. Ye wo Igbo fo. Ye wo Hausa fo. But when you add us together, we be free Nigerians. Arata fo no, where you are peaceful people. Usha kochire moi, Ashanti have an empire, Yoruba also have an empire. Inti root no ya de kro. Ye and transfer so say nye kokro ma ba ya ye wo yesu ye community ye wo Lagos town ye wo Babu all those areas no arata for ne settle ho into 24 Lagos town omo de ye arata for ne ho enti ye ni asan ye ware mu ye bra kra ojeti mi nche ye ware mu mani ye ni mu awomba enti the question is ye no is not the typical Nigerians are troublemakers. You are not. Me apprentice or chronic running Abeja newspaper. I'm a journalist.
Just integrate or naturalize if you want to be Ghanaians, okay? If you want to be Ghanaian Nigerians, that simply means that you have dual citizenship. In that sense, your root is Yoruba land. That is where your ancestors are. Do you get me now? So that should be your own real goal, not wanting to be acknowledged as part of Ghana history. You are not in that sense, all right? Because your history as being part of Ghana is probably not going to be different from other nationalities who arrived Ghana at one time or another, just like in Nigeria too, right? These things, I don't understand all this outside validation that people just want to feel. And this attitude of being a king, like, Baba, you travel, go Ghana. I think he said they born him in Ghana though, right? Which by the Ghanaian law, that should make him a Nigerian, a Ghanaian Nigerian. And if he goes to Nigeria, it will be like Nigerian Ghanaian or something, right? Okay. But this tradition, or I don't even know, is it lifestyle of people wanting to see themselves as a chief or king because they appointed you as representative of your community outside your primary community, okay? If you are in the UK, for example, so imagine me now becoming the KBC Yoruba of United Kingdom. And then suddenly I am living like that. I decided to go and get myself one old mansion, okay? And then decorate it enough that I will be like a king. And I want all the Yorubas in the UK to come and start doing, things we're doing back home. Start doing them here in the UK because we deserve to be here. I am the king of the Yorubas in the UK. Why are people like that? Why do you want to be king that you are never of from where you come from, simply because you have to be the head or to lead your community in a foreign land, or so to say? I don't know why the urge for it. I'll see all of them, they would dress like kings. You know what I mean? Like, they would dress like kings, they would dress like a Seriki, or dress like a Obi, Igwe. Like, hang on, are you seeing yourself as Igwe? You know what I mean? Like, are you actually like, carrying yourself like a king because of what people are doing it all over the place? It's mental. It's actually crazy. Okay? It reeks of inferiority complex. That's what it is. Because I am a Yoruba man, and the only place I'm going to ever feel like a Yoruba man is when I'm in the Yoruba land. That's when I can be like a king and even walk like one. Or decided to just dress or decorate my car to make it look royal. And people will still say, yeah, you look royal. Not in foreign land. That's kind of sick. No. So talking about this same power torso in a different complex context right now. So a few days ago, we saw Barua, the one that is the rival to MC Olueron on the control of, or who controls the NURTW, the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, in which MC Olueron said whatever Barua is carrying all over the place as the judgment from the industrial court is a complete rubbish. Because according to him, MC was not even included in the case that Barua is carrying about as its judgment. So he's not member or part of that case. Therefore, the judgment is not binding on him. So he shared his own part of the story, but not before they got Barua himself arrested and 6 other people charged for vandalism and illegal encroachment on the National Secretariat of their union. So MC Olueron granted his own interview or shared his own side of the story. The president of the National Union of Road Transport Workers in Nigeria, NC.
But judgment tó ń gbé káàkiri, tẹ́ bá wo judgment tó ń gbé káàkiri, my name is not there. kò sórúkọ mi bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣóyè in southwest also no present sí southwest ni ṣóyè ìgbà tó dẹ̀ so no present sí southwest mo wà nù ẹni tó campaign fún Baruwa as a state chairman NURT ní Lagos state nígbà tí ẹni tó jẹ́ chairman tèmi ń gbà yẹn tèmi jẹ́ treasurer lẹ́yìn yẹn tóun náà contest as a president mo dẹ̀ wòye pé Baruwa ló máa pay mi as a treasurer ni mo wà ń gbẹ́ yẹn ni mo fi tẹ̀lé Baruwa ọlọ́run dẹ̀ gbàdúrà ó dẹ̀ ń win ṣóyè yín sì wọ́n dẹ̀ sún àyè mi náà as a state chairman Lagos state kò tí ì tó bóyá bíi going to 2 years bóyá ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ wàhálà pẹ̀lú mi nìyẹn gbogbo èèyàn ló dẹ̀ mọ̀ yìí pé Lagos state ọ̀n fẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ tó ń jẹ́ wàhálà ní Lagos state because any wàhálà tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Lagos state ó máa kárí gbogbo anywhere as a national union la fi padà sí park and garage ṣòye ìgbà tá a padà sí park and garage ẹ ti understand now à ń ṣe tiwa lọ tẹ́nà tiẹ̀ tí wá fẹ́ pé ó dẹ̀ yẹ kó padà lọ sí southwest lọ gba mandate ẹ̀ padà but ibi tó fẹ́ gbà lọ gba mandate ẹ̀ padà 5 states union òṣìṣẹ́ ń bẹ̀ rárá Lagos Ogun Ondo Ọ̀ṣun Ọ̀yọ́ it's only one state ní union òṣìṣẹ́ ń bẹ̀ Èkìtì ṣé kò wá lè padà lọ síbẹ̀ ìmọ̀bi tó ti lọ ṣẹlẹ́ṣọ̀ tiẹ̀ because àwọn tó yẹ kó gbé wọlé ní state tó ti wá tó ti jẹ first time the second time state yẹn náà ló yẹ kó gbé wọlé padà ẹ ti understand the say ó dẹ̀ lọ sọ pé òun yìí emerge as a president ṣé bọ̀ kókó di time yẹn Lagos state ti padà sí union because kantika ló wà ní headquarter ńgbà yẹn tó yẹ pé ẹni tó lead yẹ that is Alhaji Agbẹ̀dẹ ló lead as a kantika ìgbà tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sàn àwọn zone tó kù remain only zone 2 that is southwest tó yẹ kó ti yan oyè mẹ́ta padà sáwọn tó ti wà bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn tó ti wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣé ìtọ́ ti ṣe election wọn wọ́n ti jókòó wọ́n ti lo 1 year plus tó yẹ pé ẹni tó jẹ́ deputy mi lẹ́nìí òun ló act as a acting president nígbà yẹn but now àwọn union wa turn ọ padà ní gbogbo state yẹn state márùn pé nínú constitution dẹ̀ ni tí state márùn bá ti pé a lè ṣe election yẹn lèmi fi emerge as a president of the national union. ẹ jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ sá gbogbo nǹkan tó ń gbé káàkiri my name is not there lèmi fi wà as a president of national union ṣe tó rẹ̀ jẹ́ pé gbogbo all the states ló wà lábẹ́ wa ohun tó ń pariwo kiri no one state rárá tó wà ní under umbrella kó tó di pé wọ́n wá síbí wá bà gbogbo nǹkan jẹ́ gbé laptop lọ sínú ọ̀dọ̀ Isofix finance wọ́n gbowó wọ́n gbé ticket wọ́n gbé àwọn ọkọ̀ oríṣiríṣi lọ́gbé manifest wọ́n gbé gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n gbé mọ́tò NSC wọnú bíi ni wọ́n mú díẹ̀ wọnú headquarter tọ́kọ̀ gbogbo kan ni but èmi àwọn peace ní Nàìjíríà tí n bá fẹ́ peace MC olóòmù òkèrè Nàìjíríà ṣòye yìí sì mo dẹ̀ lè take law lọ́wọ́ ara mi mo yìí sọ yìí pé I don't need any voice kí ọlọ́pàá kọ́ ṣe investigation kọ́ rí nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣé ọ̀dẹ̀ ṣe gbogbo nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe mo kí àwọn ọ̀gá ọlọ́pàá wípé gbogbo wọn ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe láti lè jẹ́ kí peace wà ní FCT l'Abuja because kò ń ṣe now lọ́ máa sọ pé ọmọ onímọ́tò tún jà tó yẹ pé gbogbo nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ ìjà náà ọmọ onímọ́tò ó ti di àfìsẹ́yìn tí eégún fi ṣọ́ ìwọ Baruwa tí wàá fẹ́ bring ẹ̀ back nítorí pé ojú ọmọ onílẹ̀ ó jẹ́ jàǹdùkú àwọn ọmọ onílẹ̀ because iṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ ló ń ṣe ṣọlẹ̀ la ṣe wòye pé okay àwọn ò need àti lọ attack anybody káwọn ọlọ́pàá kó ṣiṣẹ́ wọn òun la fi padà sínú headquarter lẹ́nìí because àwọn ọlọ́pàá really try on ṣiṣẹ́ wọn.
Actively announcing how they broke into the office and cutting away properties of the union, including, we have not met with the National Open University Center that is here, we housed here. A lot of things will have been cutted away from their place too, until we meet the authority of the center.
So to those of you who don't understand Yoruba, that man that you watched for over 5 minutes earlier is the national president of the National Union of Road Transport Workers of Nigeria, National Union of Road Transport Workers, or something like that, NURTW. And he was explaining his own side of the story because 2 days ago, a guy who happened to be the former president of the union called Bajuddin Barua led his own supporters to the union's headquarters in Abuja in order to take over the premises. He was doing that because a court just ruled in his favor that he should be returned as the president of the union. However, the Nigerian police and military took over the union secretariat, arrested Barua, and charged them to court. They charged them to court for trying to execute court judgment on their own instead of waiting for the police or the courts to do that. They also charged them for vandalism and stealing because what they did on camera was to loot the premises. Quite crazy, right? Somebody wants to be the president of a union, the office you're about to take over, and then you allowed thugs to start looting it, stealing laptops and others. So that's what MC said. He said the judgment is kind of carrying about is also fraudulent because the process that he claimed to have, the process that he claimed produced him as the president is very much faulty. That's what he's saying. So rather than for him to also resort to violence and confronted these other guys, he decided to use the police. And that's what happened. So they locked the guy up. But Barua's lawyer disagreed. His own position here.
In my experience as a lawyer, as soon as we get judgment, we will congratulate the person who wins because we can be sure, especially if it is judgment of the last court, we can be sure it will be obeyed. But in this one, it has been very difficult. In fact, we have written to Nigerian Labour Congress about this. We've written to Nigerian Bar Association about this. We've written to so many people on this matter. But we even wrote to National Security Advisor. He attended to our letter. And they invited MC Oluomo to Lagos. He didn't come, his lawyer came. Only for another, a date was now given for him to return. When I spoke with the people, they said that he said they should not worry, that he's not going to return. Till today, we didn't hear anything about that letter again. It's as if he is above the law. And the issue is that he has father in Israel. So, because he's dropping names in the presidency. When they met with the Minister of Labor, he said it then, that it's only the president of Nigeria that can tell him to vacate the office. That if you tell him to vacate the office today, he will vacate today. What kind of impunity is that one? That is on your question. Then to the last time was, I think, about close to a year ago. We call on the president. We have made a lot of newspaper publication, including Nation newspaper, where they told us that if it is put in the Nation newspaper, that the president will read it. We put it there, yet we do not see any result, and we do not want to believe that the president is not aware of this, because all those who are connected with this are mentioning the name of the president, that is their father in Israel, and is the one who is enabling this illegality. I choose not to believe. Anyway, but the president will have to prove it to us whether
they are right or we are right. We should choose who is right among us, whether we are the people who are right or they are the people who are right. We note that only recently, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu spoke glowingly well about the place of the court and the rule of law as the pillars of democracy. Those were the fine words, but the moment is a litmus test. The president cannot claim ignorance of what is happening in NURTW. The use of Nigerian police, the army, and other security agencies to install an elected individual into an office reserved by law for Comrade Ibikule Tajudeen Bariwa is a high-level operation that requires executive coordination. In my experience as a lawyer, as soon as we get judgment, we will congratulate the person who wins because we can be sure, especially if it is judgment of the last court, we can be sure it will be obeyed.
I don't want to sit here and refuse. How many times would they tell you before you know that Nigeria is not for you? Ah! Now they never leave you. They have left you behind. Photo, not be
juju be that. So that's the lawyer who is right here speaking to the press, hoping that maybe Tinubu will probably call him to order. I don't know if that is naivety or complete ignorance on the part of the lawyer. Do you understand the role of the NURTW? Do you really think what they do is to drive buses and take passengers and all that, right? I mean, that's their primary job, isn't it? Okay. That is not what makes them valuable to Nigeria's national security. Put it that way. NURTW is the official transporter of, official transporter or transportation firm for Nigeria INEC. Yes. They are the ones responsible for moving sensitive and not so sensitive election materials across the country. It's their job. That makes MC Olueran one very, very influential person and crucial too to whatever the arrangement for 2027 is. So it's not just about taking passengers and all that. They can't let that position be in the hand of somebody that is less sort of like a trustworthy than MC Olueran, who is loyal. So that's why he's dropping his name everywhere. The only person that can tell me to vacate this office will be the president. I'm holding it for him. So what are you going to do? Yeah, it doesn't have to be the law. Just like what happened between Showore and these lawyers in a courtroom in Nigeria yesterday, I think. Showore was there, according to him, to collect his passport after the court threw out the case of the former illegal police IG against him, that defamation of character nonsense case. So he was there to receive his passport, he said. However, there were lawyers in the courtroom also waiting to probably start this day's proceeding. When they saw Showore and his media guys, ones with phones, others with cameras, and other media houses, they just pounced on him, and Showore wouldn't let that fly. This encounter then ensued.
So, how are you, sir? Yes. This is, we're having a press conference, sir.
This is a courtroom, sir.
It is.
Yes.
It's a court of justice.
Yes.
We're discussing justice, yeah.
No, not in the courtroom, sir.
No, you can't tell
that
us.
matter.
No, if the judge comes back, that's fine. But while we are in court, as a participant in the court process, we can discuss the issue of justice
it's
in
better
press.
done outside.
It's done.
Courtroom must be respected.
It is respect for the courtroom to discuss what is happening in the court.
You are supposed to be doing it outside.
No, there's no rule
outside the courtroom.
There's no rule
the
that says.
To know.
No, there's no rule.
This place is a chamber of justice.
It is.
It's meant.
It's not meant for lawyers alone.
You are as a party.
Yes.
Consider. Yeah.
No.
Not to do the press conference in the court of law.
I am.
It's strange to me. I've never. I've practiced for close to 3 decades. I've never seen it in the courtroom.
Yes.
You don't do that in the courtroom.
Well, sir,
It's not a press center, sir.
You are a lawyer, huh?
Not only a lawyer, I'm a senior advocate.
Senior advocate of the masses. I am.
Yeah, well, I'm a senior advocate of Nigeria.
I'm senior advocate of the masses. Advocate of the masses.
So, gentlemen of the press, please, this is Ado Chambers. A court of justice is better you go to press this thing outside the courtroom.
Sir, you cannot tell us.
Please let us respect our law.
You cannot tell.
You can hold your conference.
Sir, you cannot tell me as a citizen of Nigeria, and somebody was brought before this court, that I cannot address the media while I'm waiting for the judge to come out of his chamber.
Do that outside the courtroom.
No.
Respect the courtroom.
You are waiting for the judge.
Is there any law in Nigeria that stops anybody
I cannot talk in the press room while waiting for the judge.
The law that established this court says provide what must be done inside this court.
In which document, sir?
Press conference.
Is there a document?
Federal High Court Act.
What does it say?
And the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which established
I'm not interfering in the
please control this. Let them
the registrar knows what we are looking for. And that's what we are responsible. If you give me my document now, if you give me my document, we are done. Give us our document.
This first time we've had several people who have press conferences in the court.
Yes. What is wrong with discussing the court? What exactly is our activity?
Because Showore we know it's a very controversial bill, especially as it concerns the law today.
He brought himself here to come and intimidate us.
The judge is not sitting, so I'm surprised that you are worried about this.
Respect the dignity of the court.
The dignity of the court is for justice. It's got to be a place for justice.
The court?
Inside the courtroom.
Is that yours? Are you implying?
Doesn't.
It does.
Doesn't.
It does.
Is that a law that you can quote for us?
I'll give you to act. Go and check it. Go and read it.
But
there's no act.
Yes,
are you not addressing the press?
I'm telling you to go out.
You can't tell us to go out.
You can't tell the press to go out.
You are addressing the press now.
Is there any authority that makes the press
go out? Go out.
You cannot force us out of the courtroom where we are waiting for. You can't. You cannot force me out. That's it. You can't force me out. Yes.
We are in the Federal High Court, Abuja. We have we have press conferences. We went as far as ordering the pressmen to get out of the court.
But you are not because when DSS will stop you at the gate, the DSS will stop you at the gate.
Because in 2019,
when the DSS
came into the
takes
court,
over the federal, have you ever spoken about it?
When they took over the gate,
when the DSS comes here, and take over the, oh, they don't block you because you are privileged. They block me to come attend to my cases, and you have never said a word when the DSS takes over your federal high court gate. But you want to come and intimidate Showore? You are intimidating me. You are even insulting my intelligence. That defend me, and they know that when I come to court, I discuss my matter. I'm waiting for the judge, just like we are waiting for the judge. Even if we don't have a case here, we have the right to sit down in the gallery.
Are you sitting down in the gallery?
Yes. We are waiting for the gallery. This is the gallery of the court. This is the gallery. I'm accused. I'm waiting for the judge. And this is the can't tell
somebody one is guaranteed. Showore no go gree. But come to think of it, except when the court is in session and the judge categorically ordered the media or the press out that they don't want any recordings or anything. Do you know you can actually walk to any courtroom, even when it's in session, to just sit down there, whether you have a case there or you don't have any case. You just want to see how courts operate, by law. You are free to walk in. Nobody should be asking you, what are you doing here? What do you want here? No. It is a public space. Honestly. I know a lot of people will be like, God forbid, I don't want to go to court to, that Nigerian thing. But it's not wrong. Except if the court is in session or or maybe if there is, and that will be illegal, okay? So just put a notice on the wall and say, do not use camera in here. It's a public space. Everybody can go in and listen to or witness, you know, any case at any time. Maybe not all cases though, you know, there are some special ones that you will need some security clearance or all that. Yeah. See if it's a serious case. You know what I mean? But you know, Nigerian thing, they always make it, you should be able to just take a bite. Yeah. You just dress up in the morning, right? You don't even know if there are what kind of case or other cases they're having on that morning. Just dress up nice, okay? Come, walk straight to the courtroom. You are allowed to come in and sit down. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be that easier in the Nigerian setting. Sure, I won't let go. The other part.
Idiots.
Let them sign our documents.
Yes, now.
Senior advocates that cannot advocate.
Respected as seniors. Senior advocates, what are they advocating for? This country will not change until we start confronting this kind of mediocrity.
DSS will come and take over their gates there. All the senior advocates will be, oh, please can I go inside? But when you see Showore, you ask, I'll dream it to get out of the road where I have a case, just like yourself. I cannot discuss my case. Where can we discuss the case? Everywhere the case needs to be discussed, it has to be discussed. If you don't want people to come to court, don't bring bogus charges against them. Don't do injustice in the court. And you must understand that we all own courts. This is our own section of the court. That's your own section of privilege. Your privilege cannot overrule our own privilege in the court. The worst thing you can do is to fight against us that you want us to be committed for contempt. And we are ready, but we'll never kneel down before a judge. That one is not going to ladies and gentlemen, in case you are not apprised of what is happening in the courtroom, you are in the Court of Justice Lima. I haven't waited for another similar case today with Justice Umar, where the judge was our barrister to kneel down. He did not come to court to deliver his judgment over a case we filed against the DSS and Twitter and Facebook, as well as the Attorney General of the Federation. So we came to this court today because since Justice Lima discharged, not acquitted, but struck out the case brought by illegal IGP, Electoral, we have applied for my passport and he refused to sign to get my passport from me. So we came to the court to get a copy of the signature. While we got here, he said he has already, as a matter of fact, we waited to let him finish before coming inside the court so that he won't say that we have no case before him. So we're here addressing issues of national importance, as we always do. Before that senior advocate of Nigeria worked in with some of his lawyers from his chamber, an assault on our fundamental right to tell us that we have no right to be addressing the press inside the courtroom. He even quoted the outdated Nigerian constitution. And when we asked him to tell us where in any, he quoted a non-existent section of the constitution that I have no right to address press inside the courtroom. And we have told him, we told him to his face. We told him to his face that, yes, you are in big trouble. You are not only in trouble, you are in deep doo-doo in this country because of the kind of people you are. You are in trouble. Yes, you people destroyed the country. Yes, you destroyed it. You destroyed it with your complacency and connivance. And we are going to fix the country in our lifetime. Yes, deep trouble. That's what we are. For a court, for a lawyer who came to court to be threatening to beat up people and break their camera. A lawyer that went to a Nigerian law school, wanted to beat somebody. And we have all of your faces on camera and your threats. We are in deep trouble. if lawyers no longer respect the rights of other people, and that lawyers in Nigeria that don't have respect and understanding of what constitutes a courtroom, that's the biggest problem we have in Nigeria. That they don't understand that it is not meant for lawyers alone, that everybody in the courtroom has a place of privilege, including the media, and they do it whenever it suits their agenda. When they were trying to convict Nnamdi Kanu by force, they brought NTA into the courtroom to cover it live. Live. And when the DSS come and take over their gate, you don't hear from them. They don't see that as a desecration of the Nigerian judicial system. But you walk into the courtroom, DSS is taking attendance of Nigerian lawyers in this country. The EFCC has also started doing it. And you come here and tell us that we have no right to address the press while waiting for the judge. There is a crime. There's a section of the Nigerian Constitution that says you can't address the press. We ask you to quote it. You are threatening us with I'm a senior advocate of I say I'm a senior advocate of the masses. You are SAM, I'm SAM. Exactly. We all have a place in the senior advocacy level. If you are not satisfied, you can go to court. Yes. But we must tell you and tell everybody that we are ashamed of all of you today and what you did in this courtroom to truncate our fundamental rights to talk about justice inside the House of Justice. We are going to inform our lawyers.
It's unacceptable. Mr. President, we're sure, eh? So yeah, on that note, that is where we're going to call it a night this evening. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time, as usual. Well, every one of you that usually comes up. So thank you. But remember, right, since you are here, remember to like the video just before you sign out, okay? And share it too. And if this is your first time on Mayegun's Diary Politico, maybe you should subscribe too. I mean, if you enjoyed it, okay? So enjoy the rest of your evening and night. It's going to be a good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Mayegun Diary Diary Politico. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Mayegun #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa mi.
Àní ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa mi.
Àní ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá.
Máyégún máa mi.
Àní ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Aṣòfin ti ń rúfin o.
Máyégún máa mi.
Àní ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Òkúra olóṣèlú.
Máyégún máa mi.
Àní ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.